Hey, it's Dave, and before you get to the weekend on Big Plus, I want to make sure you know all the changes that are coming. I suddenly realized, hang on, I want to make sure you are fully informed about what's going to happen and all the new features, because Christmas Wise Guys this weekend is the first time you will see a Season 4 series, and Season 4 has some exciting new features, and so I want to make sure you don't miss out on them. Before I get to the videos behind me and we talk about that, let's talk about a few things. Social media assets. We now have, every Season 4 curriculum will have social media assets for you to put up on Instagram, Facebook, wherever you want to use to help communicate what you're talking about at church. There are brand new devotionals. Right now, if you go into YouVersion, the Bible app, search for Christmas Wise Guys Big, you will find a devotional that you can send a link to and share with your parents. You can share it one-on-one, individually, text them and say, hey, here's a devotional for you to do with your kids. And it's all there, available around the world on YouVersion. Very excited about that. Brand new worship song. Called Star of the Morning, worldwide release this week. You really want to check this song out. Also, you can send it to your kids at their homes. There's a lyric video on YouTube, and I think it'll be very well. I'm excited because it's our first ever Christmas single. Last thing I want to talk about is additional needs, learning difficulties, kids with special needs. This is a game changer. We'll go into that in a little more detail. All right, I'm using Big Plus on a laptop. It'll look slightly different, of course, if you are on the app. Week 49, we now have primary, elementary, we say 8 to 12-year-olds, preschool, which is 4 to 7, and toddler, which is 1 to 3. And Season 4 is very similar, but we've really defined those three age groups: 1 to 3, 4 to 7, 8 to 12. And of course, you can see there the purple, additional needs. Very exciting. Let's jump into primary. All right, here's our order of service. Now, one of the first things that we need to talk about is this, is a brand new countdown video. Every single week you will get a new countdown video that's not the same. There will be different jokes, there'll be different challenges. I'm going to try and skip to the challenge if I can. I might be able to if the internet's good. Find the person with the biggest family in the room. Your leader, jump up in front of the kids if you're at church, and this is your chance to gather the kids together in a bit of a challenge. Every single week has a different challenge, so you don't just want to do the olds, think that the same countdown is the same every week. No, it's different every week. And there's a joke from our church baby friends a little bit later on. A lot is new in that countdown. It's a way to gather your kids even more effectively at the beginning of the service. Then of course we have our worship set. This includes some worship songs like Star of the Morning, and of course, if I skim through, you know, the same deal. Big Word. Brand new Big Word with a brand new dance for this curriculum, but that hasn't changed too much. What has changed though is our big message. So this is combining a few elements together. We have our big story. We have a bunch of preaching in there. We have Funny Man Dan, a whole bunch of elements that we really believe are going to reach your kids in an even bigger way. As you can see, there are kids in the background. There's me, but that's not the important part. There are kids in the background. Every single big message involves kids in the background. They're taking notes, they're listening, they're engaged, and they're interacting with the message. We really believe putting kids up on the screen helps your kids engage. Now, this is not just me preaching. This will cut to Dan, and Dan is in a different location every single weekend. This week, he has appeared in Brisbane, Australia, as you can see, and he's going to appear and ask a kid what they want to know about God, and that's what we answer in the preaching. So you can see in a moment, Dan's going to appear. Here he comes. There he is. So he's appeared and he's about to go and ask a kid a question. So this segment then cuts back to me who talks. We cut to our big story. So we've combined these elements together. I'm going to try and find our big story and guess where it is. And then we finish with a object lesson from Dan. There's our big story, so very similar to what we've done in the past. Then we go to a object lesson with Dan, another way to engage your kids, finishing with a short wrap up from the preacher. Now, very exciting, very brand new, and I am really pumped about what it means for your kids to learn the Bible in an even deeper way. The explainer video is essentially for our 8 to 12s. It goes a little bit deeper. Each series has an explainer video. It might talk about Greek, Hebrew, it might talk about context. It goes a little bit deeper behind the story that we're talking about. And of course, when we're talking about Jesus, we're talking about the political situation he was born into. Mum and Dad had to travel, refugees. It's a fascinating story, and that is what the explainer video is about, generally for our 8 to 12s, but of course, hey, feel free to use it for those younger kids. Big Q&A is very similar to previous series. The kids will choose the right answer and then try and unscramble the letters. We have a solver. This is a good thing to point out. In the print material, you can print out a solver, which you can print out and give to your kids, and they can write down the letters that they choose to unscramble the word. The guided prayer is something brand new for this season 4. At the end of your service, at the end of the time before you go to small groups, you may want to use this. It's a short 1 minute approximately video, which allows them to pray along with the preacher, with the message. The kids on the screen do it as well. And this is it's a beautiful moment at creating just a short moment of prayer where they're saying a prayer to God along with kids and along with the preacher on the screen. The KDG transition, you will know if you've used our previous series. It's just a way, if you'd like to use this, to get your kids to the next segment, large group, small group. Simply all you do is, it's a way to discuss a question. Very, very simple. Dan will ask them a question, just skipping forward there. And you can begin your KDGs by discussing this question. We just call it the KDG transition, another way to keep them focused. Ministry loop is pretty much similar, new animation. Game loop, brand new song, brand new animations, you can check that out. And then of course, there's all of our print material. That is 8 to 12s, or as we call it, primary elementary. If we drop down to preschool, which is 4 to 7-year-olds, and then the big message. Now the big message is again changed and we've hopefully made it even more engaging for your kids. Very similar idea with the 4 to 7-year-olds. Funny Man Dan is going to arrive in a city and go and find a kid to ask a question. And then it goes to Sophie, who is our big story, and then Audrey's hosting this one. These are similar to what you've had in the past, but again, there's Dan visiting the city of Brisbane, and every single week he'll visit a different location around the world. There's Audrey, there's our preacher. We've taken the preaching message and kind of condensed it for 4 to 7-year-olds. It's very similar to the 8 to 12s. And then we have a big story and we have a few other fun elements. Again, there's our object lesson with Funny Man Dan. Again, that really classic children's ministry object lesson. Big quiz, Funny Man Dan, similar to what you've had in the past. The kids will pose their bodies and the answer that they think is correct. The alligator goodbye, the wash your hands, and then the print material, all very similar. And then of course, let's go down to our 1 to 3-year-olds. I'm really proud of what we've done with the videos for 1 to 3-year-olds. So in our 1 to 3-year-olds, we have our big word song separately. We have a theme song. Now this is included in 8 to 12 and 4 to 7, but it's separately there. Again, it's maybe a little old for them, but it's there if you ever want. Every single weekend has a theme song with our band Dark Crush. The big message. This is different again. We've got our Audrey's, we've got our presenters who are really focused on 1 to 3-year-olds. And this is the Wonderkin device, if you remember from the old days, from previous curriculum. The child goes and finds the Wonderkin and they engage with it and they interact with it. And this is different, only for 1 to 3-year-olds. And then obviously title sequence. Funny Man Dan introduces, we've got brand new Max and Melody, little puppets. Your kids will love them. Funny Man Dan always finds out about the theme and the topic. He cuts to our big story and our preaching. And this is very specifically, this Sophie with a beautiful Bible story she'll read. And of course, I think that this is the best we've ever done for 1 to 3-year-olds. Of course, we visit a child's house. And in this case, it's the kid with the Wonderkin. And London here is making a king's crown for Christmas. Alligator goodbye, goodbye song for you, wash your hands song, classic 1 to 3-year-old song, ministry, game time, birthday song, print material. But now I want to talk about what perhaps I'm most proud about, which is our additional needs or special needs content. This is something that we've been working on for a very long time and so happy to make it a part of your church. Whether you have a full-on room and program for them or you're doing a buddy system where you're working with kids with additional needs and trying to integrate them together, I think this will help you. There is, of course, a lot of content available in our print material for wall charts, timers, things that kids with additional needs need to interact and to communicate. But the media here is, of course, very simple, but we hopefully will reach them where they're at. A praise and worship set designed for them with our big word, a big message. We take away a lot of those abstract ideas and make things really concrete and obvious. And so we have again our little Wonderkin device being picked up. We have Max and Melody dolls. we have preaching, and we have Bible stories. We have all of those elements in one video. Special needs isn't out there in a corner learning something different. All of your kids in your ministry are learning something together. So if you have anything to do with special needs, please check it out, because we think it'll really help you.